Do something funny. Don't do something funny, never mind.
I already missed my burp, so it would have been the perfect thing. Or nice ASMR when I opened my drink.
Oh, yeah, you should have waited.
Yeah.
You have a guava, lime.
That's Spanish.
Spanish. At the bottom of it.
It's guava, lime, guayaba, lima.
It's such good.
Good Spanish. Look at me
This
go.
is making me annoying. There you go. It's a Corona refresher. I got my water.
Fresca.
I got my water. Welcome to episode 9. I almost said, and that's why we drink. That's another podcast.
We're stealing
to the one where they analyze movies.
What is our name? Do we even say our name?
No, we don't. We really should. And I'm Tessa.
I'm Lyrica. Yeah, we just don't introduce anything.
No. Because it's usually how we record, because it's awkward to talk into a mic. We just look at each other and talk to each other.
Yeah, like it's a normal conversation, just with the mic.
Yeah. And you have to be awkwardly so close to it.
Yeah, because I just can't project for the life of me.
That one projected, so that's good, except when it went to the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at those sound links.
Wavelengths.
Yeah. Sound wavelengths.
Sound waves.
Sound waves. Yeah.
We're both very tired today. You woke up early. I'm just always tired. Always. Wednesdays for some reason, always so tired. I slept fine. Got up at my normal time. Actually, I went to bed earlier.
I heard your alarm this morning.
Yeah, I hate it.
At 5:30.
Which one? I have 2 normal ones, and if I want to keep sleeping more, I turn on my timer for 30 minutes to wake me up at 6.
I heard Bong Chan.
I wake up to his voice saying, "Good morning."
It's funny me walking out of my room and that's what I hear.
And then my first alarm is BTS saying good morning, which, by the way, I almost never hear. I never hear my first alarm, but I turn it off. I almost always hear my second alarm.
You're like, your body's... Yep.
Yeah, it turns it off so fast, and I'm so confused. And then my my timer alarm is Ego by J-Hope. And it's super loud. It's scaredy ones.
Yeah, that shit's really loud when you're in a room and just you.
Yeah, it's loud because I don't wake up.
I always wake up, no matter what. No. My alarm is so chill and calm that like I still wake up to it. It's calm down, babe.
Must be nice. No, mine has to be loud because I sleep through them.
Yeah. I have to have a non-jarring one now because then I like get startled.
I think I actually have to change my first alarm. Sorry, BTS, you're way too quiet. Here's the thing. I sleep through it, but I turn it off. So I wake up and I turn it off.
You just like...
But I just don't remember turning it off.
You're like half asleep.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because it turns off, and then my second alarm, I wake up to. So maybe I need to change that first alarm, but I'm waking up. But I don't know. It's weird. I should probably change. Maybe I'll change it to Ego, because then I know for sure. Or I'll switch them, where Ego is the second one, where I know I'll wake up because it's loud, and the first one's Bong Chan.
Because did you even wake up to Bong Chan? Because I walked past your room and it was still dark. I was like, did she even wake up?
Yeah, I keep my lights off until I get out of bed. I don't get up.
I swear that one was going off at like 5:50 in the morning. I was like, why are you awake so early?
No. My second alarm goes off. So my first alarm goes off at 5.
Mm-hmm.
My second alarm goes off at 5:30.
And I heard the 5:30 one.
Yeah, that's Bong Chan. And then I turned that off. And then I wanted to sleep some more, so I turned on my timer.
Mm-hmm.
To go off in 30 minutes to 6 a.m.
I was about to say, why are you awake at 5:30?
I wake up at 5:30 because then that gives me an hour to sit on my phone. helps me wake up
Yeah,
because I found out if I only have 20 minutes of waking up, I don't wake up. I'm tired. I don't want to get out of bed. And then I'm late. So if I have like an hour to wake up in bed, just sitting on my phone in bed, I'm usually almost always on time. Sometimes I push it. Like if I sleep until 6, I push it. So that's why I set an alarm at 5:30. 5 is just to give me awake enough that I don't go into deep sleep for too long, that I sleep through my second alarm. Because I sleep through the first alarm. So I time it out correctly. I used to always wake up for my first alarm. I don't know what happened. Then working as State Patrol, I started sleeping through my alarms. And then now I sleep through my first alarm almost every night. Or I don't technically sleep through it. I just don't remember turning it off. I can't remember the last time I remember hearing BTS wake me up.
Yeah, must be too quiet.
Yeah. But it wakes me up.
Different.
Because then it'll say missed alarm, but I never have that when I wake up. So I have no idea.
Different waking up styles. Yeah, it takes her a while to and wake up enough to have that backup alarms, and I always wake up immediately to mine, or I'll wake up to other people's, and then I'm like, am I awake? It was a struggle when I used to live with my cousin in college in the dorm room. I'd wake up, and she had the craziest sleep schedule, where I would come back from class and she would be asleep, and then she'd set her alarm to be awake at midnight, and then I'm trying to be asleep. I'm like, oh, why is the alarm going off at midnight?
Are you able to fall back to sleep after that?
It depends. It really just depends on how.
Because usually I can. If I'm in the middle of sleep, I can go back to sleep pretty easily. It's going to sleep the initial time I have issues. I have anxiety-induced sleep onset insomnia, which basically means I'm so anxious when I'm going to bed that my brain doesn't turn off.
Yeah.
So it takes me about an hour to 2 hours to fall asleep at night. Hence why I need an extra hour to wake up, because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I could use that time to sleep, but no.
Yeah.
Plus I have to leave at around 7:05 to get to work, even though I don't start until 8. That's because there's so much traffic.
You just sit.
No, I drive, and then I go get breakfast. Whether it's before I go to work or at work, I get breakfast. I'm trying to go get breakfast down in the cafeteria. They got cool things. They made waffles yesterday. I want waffles. They don't have that at the cafe. They have the same things at the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting tired of breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
But the bacon's so good.
Bacon. Yeah. Anyways.
Our movie we selected was, because it's Pride Month, we're doing all Pride-esque movies.
Yeah.
Some in-your-face Pride, some more subtle.
Yeah.
This one's a more subtle Pride. LGBTQ+. We're doing Inside Out, because there's some theories that Riley, the main character, could be non-binary, or their gender expression's different.
Mm-hmm.
They're more neutral.
Yeah.
Or more masculine. And I have a lot of theories on this. And I do believe it. I think. Or Riley's going to grow up to be non-binary. Because she goes by she in the movie. But maybe she grows up to be non-binary when she's discovering herself. Maybe after puberty. After they hit that button.
What's puberty?
What's puberty? Yeah. Good movie. We're not going to do a recap because everyone should watch it.
Yeah. That's a quick movie, too.
I don't like doing recaps. It takes so much time to recap a movie.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't want to watch it, listen to us talk about it.
Yeah.
And be confused. Fuck it.
And it's Pixar/Disney movie, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pixar makes the good movies.
It's easy to watch. And
I feel like most people have watched it, too.
yeah. 2015? You've had some time now.
2015, huh? Damn, that came out when I was 16.
Yeah. I remember this movie coming out, but I never watched it until 2021 when you showed me it.
I don't remember if I saw it in the theaters the first time or not. I can't remember. I might have seen it in the theaters, but I definitely saw it before I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was like my third or fourth time watching it. It's a good movie. I really like it. It made me cry.
Yeah, I witnessed.
It always makes me cry. It always does.
When I watched it at work today, I was a bit more emotional while watching it. I didn't cry, but...
I was like crying hard.
Yeah, I was feeling the feels though while I was at work, and it was just me by myself watching it, and even though I'm at work, I can...
Well, I think it's also because I showed you all of the sad TikToks.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about in the specific scene is Bing Bong, the imaginary character, when he when Bing Bong and Joy were down in the forgotten memories and everything, trying to get up and everything, go back to headquarters, all that jazz. Bing Bong realizes he's being forgotten because he's starting to fade. And so on the last attempt, he jumps out and Joy gets out and she's like, oh, let's go, Bing Bong. And she realizes Bing Bong stayed in the pit to let her out. And, he's like, take her to the moon for me. And that gets me every single time. I don't know if it's because of the TikToks. Could be because of the TikToks. It could be it's just a reminder that everyone grows up and they lose that innocence in them. And their innocence just want them to still have those happy moments.
Yeah.
God, it makes me feel sad for my imaginary friend that I possibly had, but I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I killed it. I didn't even know I killed it. But that gets me every single time I watch it. I cry. Or Bing Bong. Justice for Bing Bong.
Justice for Bing Bong.
But, it's a really good movie. Especially like a commentary on like emotions, especially growing up and navigating emotions.
Yeah,
so
I read a lot about emotions in my little paper that also I was at work and I have a lot to do. Like this week has been very slow, so it's kind of like pretending like I was working, but I was actually doing this because I was trying to save applications. Sorry, monitor. I was trying to save some of my emailed applications for tomorrow because my mailed ones I barely have any, and I was like, well, I need work to do tomorrow, so I was like, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm working. I was writing these notes, and yeah, that's how I was able to write a lot of stuff. And
yeah, I wrote my notes when we watched it. We watched Monday, and then we record Wednesday, so then I can do homework on those other days. Whoop, but
hey, don't worry, I'll join you in August.
Yep, she's going back to school.
August 17th, which is the night of my concert, so that's fun.
Are you doing, is it all online or is it in person?
It's all online, so I'll just have to,
good.
move my homework and stuff around. It's basically like your school is, where, you don't have, a Zoom lecture or, a set, class.
It's all on your own.
It's all on your own, recorded lectures.
Well, you should be fine with one day off. Is that a Friday?
It's a Friday, but I guess...
I start a class on a Friday? That's weird.
I was going to say, well, what about Thursday? But I was like, Thursday doesn't matter. Because I plan on going down Thursday because I don't want to drive and then, be tired for the concert. So we're going on Thursday. Concert's Friday, leaving Saturday.
We'll do it Thursday during the day.
Yeah. Well, I won't have school yet. My school starts the day after. So I'll just, do it when I get back.
No, on Friday. The day of Friday.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have anything on the day of Friday, so just knock some out if you have any.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing for their music festival. I'm bringing my laptop down and doing any homework that I have. I don't know for sure what kind of homework it's going to be, but I'm guessing it's not going to be my, because for my homework, I have my laptop and I use my monitor because I use a statistical program because I'm in stats right now. And so I need the two screens. But my next class is research methods, which I don't think I'm going to need a monitor for. Because that's just figuring out how to, like different types of research, while the statistics is more the math behind each research method and everything. So, oh my god, I got cat hair on my fucking nose.
She did tell me I won't have an assignment, actually, because she said no matter how the teacher wants to set up the class, the consistent for purely online is you'll have something due Thursday, and then you'll have something due Sunday. So, my first thing will probably be due Sunday, and then I'll have the rest of the week to work on Thursday.
Yeah.
Since it doesn't start till Friday.
That's interesting. They just don't have it all at the end of the week? Like Wednesday?
Oh, but it's, that Thursday and then Sunday, and the, block is, because my class, it's 7.5 weeks, so it's gonna be...
Ew.
Yeah, it's...
Ew, what are these classes doing?
It's a weird thing, so I'm assuming the half is that first week or something.
I hate how that's structured.
I gotta look, because I registered for them, but I didn't get to look closely at the dates.
Do you know the class?
Yes. Not off the top of my head, but...
Is it like a medical class? Like intro to medical?
It's
medical?
I think it was intro to hospital information management, so it's just going to be
Oh, I think my mom wanted to go into that.
The way she explained is it's mostly going to be documents that are used in hospitals and where you can find certain information on documents, a very introductory kind of thing.
That shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Well, what's good for you, at least this class, it doesn't sound like there's reading, from a textbook.
Yeah. The next class
you will.
is anatomy and
that
physiology,
one you'll have to
so
read.
That'll be fun.
That one you probably won't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
That one you have to dedicate all your time to it. Besides Mondays and Wednesdays.
So yes. Anyways, going back to school. So we're both gonna be like Riley, except we're not in middle school.
No. Thank God.
Middle school, right? 11? Yeah.
11's middle school.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was tail end elementary.
Well, it depends on when her birthday is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna describe Riley as she, her, because that's her pronoun in the movie.
Yeah.
But I do think she will maybe one day be non-binary. And I have evidence to back it up.
Yeah, because her emotions, I think, only reference her as Riley. It's her parents that we hear saying she, or do the emotions say she?
The emotions say she, her.
Do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think Joy does. So, but we never hear
so
what
does sadness.
Riley says about herself, even though, yeah.
Well, my evidence isn't based off of what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hint at it when I talk about it, but should we talk about that first? Yeah. I have a couple plot points. You want to do something fun? Do you want to choose a plot point?
Sure.
That I put down. I wrote down toxic positivity, fight or flight, benefit of negative emotions.
Hey, we're on the same wavelength.
Family dynamics. We got memories.
I talked about that too.
We got depression, and we got the gender expression / non-binary.
I'm on the same wavelength with you with all of those because
you're taking over my job. I'm the psychology.
Well, mine was more I like to talk in regards to the movies, just in general, the themes that it's trying to say. So I was thinking more thematically, but I actually had questions to ask you specifically about. Well, then
we'll go through your plot points then, because then you have questions, and then I'll add notes then if they're matching.
Yeah.
So what's a plot point you want to talk about?
In general, one thing that I mentioned is I wanted to get your take on so in the movie, it's the emotions are personified and everything is more portrayed as easily digestible for children and to make sense of what's happening, but also for adults to be entertained. So I kind of was the first thing I was thinking when I was rewatching today was from a film standpoint. I like how they portrayed the emotions as something that will be enjoyable for kids to watch and something that's dialed down so they can make sense of it. But of course, as you were talking about a little bit while we were watching the movie, some of the stuff, it's not gonna be, accurate because of that. So I was wondering what your thoughts on, like, how accurate things were and what you thought about, like, them kind of simplifying things, if it still makes sense at least, even if it's not completely accurate.
Well, actually, honestly, it is pretty accurate because there are only... How many emotions were there in the movie?
5.
There's 5. Okay, so there's actually 6 universal emotions. So you don't need to speak the language. You don't need to know their culture. You can look at somebody from a whole different side of the planet and you'll know what they're feeling based off of what their non-verbal communication is. And those 6 emotions are happy, disgust, fear, anger, joy. Did I already say joy?
Yeah.
Sorry, sadness. And the 6th one that they didn't put in there was confusion. Confused. If you're confused about something.
Yeah.
That's also one.
Because I heard of this, but I didn't. When I was watching it, I didn't think about it, but that's actually really smart to have it be them.
Technically, yes. And confusion can also be added into the fear element of the movie, but there is a 6th universal emotion that we can detect by non-verbal communication. So that aspect is really, really true, to have just those 5 main emotions. Now, and also on top of that, the progression of Riley's emotions over time, how a lot of them were one at a time kind of feeling. That's true in a sense of how we portray our emotions. It isn't until we're older can we also dissect that we're feeling multiple emotions.
Like complex.
You can interpret complex emotions. Like you can be, like for example, you're an 18-year-old and you want to go to England with your friends without your parents. First trip without adult supervision. You're going to England, a whole different country, away from your family. You could be scared. You could be excited. You could be happy. You could be sad because you're leaving for maybe a good amount of time. You could be also scared because you don't know the place that you're going. If you're going to a different place that you don't know the language, you might be scared or excited to try the food. So you're having all of these emotions all at once. An 18-year-old can at least start to distinguish those emotions a lot better and understand, like, these are all emotions that I'm feeling all at once. It's not one after another after another. Well, a child, one of the biggest examples I can think of is a child will see their best friend and be like, I love them, I'm going to marry them.
Yeah.
Because that's what they think what that one emotion is. But in all aspects, they're feeling a whole lot of emotions, but they don't know how to untangle all of them and put a label to it. Because you need to, know all of your emotions, how they all feel, and then how to put a word to them. Because some people might not know what they feel because they've never been in that circumstance, and then they're in that circumstance, and it's a brand new emotion that they're feeling, and they need to figure out what it is, how it feels. Because, like, when people say love, there's a universal understanding of love. That's not completely true. Different people feel different ways of love.
Everyone, like what you would define it as being.
As love. Some people say it's a physical reaction. They feel a heart flutter and they sweat every time they see him. By the way, that's a fight or flight reflex. It means get the fuck out of there. If you find somebody, this is not completely fact-based, but it's an understanding that if you're having those reactions, it might not be the best situation. You might think you're in love, but your body is telling you to get the fuck out of there because it's hitting your fight or flight reflex. So finding somebody who makes you feel comfortable and not have those flutters and like sweat and heart palpitations and like all that stuff is actually better, because that means your body's at peace when you're with the person and your body's not like tipping off the parasympathetic nervous system being scared. At first, that emotion's good because you don't know this person, you're getting to know them, you're nervous and everything. But if it's throughout the relationship, it's like, watch out. But overall, the personification is interesting because it does bring in, there are 6 universal emotions that we can detect. And I think it's really interesting that at the end they showed that you can have multiple emotions.
What I was thinking is how her memories are shaded with different colors because now she can distinguish the 2 emotions that are happening simultaneously, or specifically her one memory of when she was sad that she lost the hockey game, and then immediately she felt happy when her teammates came.
And that's honestly how we saw it in the movie. It looked like it was the emotions choices, but in all reality, it was Riley understanding her emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
So, even though she had that memory where she was sad and then she was happy, now when she looks back, she's able to recognize that she was both. She was sad, but she was also happy because of her family. And so at the end, you see all these multicolored memory pearl balls, showing that you can have a variety of different emotions about different memories. And you can have them even the biggest thing is looking through rose-colored glasses, or one day our parents are going to pass away. So, of course, when we look back on our memories of them, we're going to be sad, but we're also going to be happy because they were in our lives. So our memory ball pearl things will be both yellow and both blue because you're going to feel both emotions when you're thinking about something. Even if it's like me and my past relationship, I looked at it with happiness, but also might now look at it with sadness and disgust. So I mean,
and anger.
We'll throw that in there.
Maybe a little bit of fear.
No fear. No fear whatsoever. But it's a reality of growing up and being more, in honesty, being more mature and maturing and understanding your emotional stability and just kind of identifying it. Yeah. And a lot of time you should sit with your emotions so you understand what they are, because you don't want to have an emotion and then write it off as something that it might not be.
Yeah.
So sitting with it. Of course, there are a variety of other emotions that we feel that aren't just those 5 basic ones or the 6 universal. And that could be through cultural nonverbal cues that we have here in America that might be different in China or in Italy or something. So, emotions, those 6 are universal, but other emotions are cultural or personal. So how you grew up might display an emotion in a different way or feel an emotion a different way. But overall, having those 5, I think were really good, because even if you're in a different country and you're watching the movie, it's dubbed or subbed or something, you'll understand what they are universally in any country because you know what those emotions would be, because they have very distinctive personalities, the emotions, because they're trying to give away non-verbally what they are. So if if it's in English but you're reading it in a different language, you can still understand and look at them even if you don't look at the subtitles.
Crying,
So, and it's not even the crying, because some cultures don't like crying.
Yeah.
So it's just the facial features of what a sad face looks like, or an anger face, surprised. Oh, maybe it's not confused. It's surprised. That's the other one. Maybe it's confused too. Maybe there's 7. Because I remember it being confused. Maybe there's 8. Maybe there's actually 8. I might be wrong with that.
This could just be the first 5, more.
They're the main ones. Yeah. Universal emotions.
Which honestly, in movie form, if you keep adding too many things, then it's going to be confusing. So doing just the main 5 seemed like the best, like, for story-wise, because you don't want too many moving parts to get too confusing.
Never mind. There are 6. It's not confused. It's surprise. I mixed those 2 up. But the rest are true. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. It's 6. I knew it was 6. Yeah. I just can remember the 6th one. But, yeah, those are the 5 that I kind of main ones. Surprise, not... You can't really have a surprised emotion in Inside Out. I mean, you could. It would just be
also, it wasn't a huge...
It wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, it wasn't, like, a huge play on her.
Yeah. And honestly, I think maybe Joy... Kind of, like, surprising. It's fun.
Yeah.
Happy. So maybe Joy was kind of the substitute for both of them. But, yeah. That was... Yeah, I like it. I like that they had the 5, and they were very distinctive, and 1 in their colors. Mm-hmm. But 2 in their facial features, not even like how they moved, just their facial features. You could tell which one was which.
Yeah, which I like for like a story wise, because like in my brain I was thinking like the audience is, it's a family movie, but children are gonna be the majority, like who are watching the movie, and so I was thinking about, like, how they would be able to recognize, which they're probably, not going to recognize all of the complex things that are going on. They're probably going to take away, depending on their age, a more simplified, like, oh, I can be sad, Maybe not, like, the full effect until they start getting older, because I don't know the age range that they're going for this movie. But, like, specifically what they were targeting. But, and then I think it's a good storytelling method to like give that bigger idea of Riley learning how to deal with complex emotions, maturing, It's a way to show internally, but in a fun way, so it's not just Riley thinks this. Like, it's done, for, like, to be enjoying and enjoyable and entertaining. But then we can also see Riley, so like the 2 kind of narrative styles.
You see what's inside her head with the characters, but you see how she reacts with
so you
those
get
characters.
Both sides of what's going on, and I think that really lends itself to being able to give the full picture of the theme and the message that they're trying to convey, and so... And I just like personified emotion idea. Like, anything that you personify, like, like that new movie Elemental's coming out, like, that seems interesting.
I'm so excited for that movie.
Personifying elements, emotions, like, I'm a big fan of personification.
If they do it well.
Yeah, if they do it well. Which, I think Elemental's a Pixar movie. So
it is.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Probably. Pixar is good with their movies.
Pixar, like...
When it comes to, like, complicated issues, they're very good at doing it in a kid way. Like Turning Red. Yeah. It's about, like, growing up and family.
My favorite, Soul, even though I would say
Soul.
That one was geared probably more towards getting older, like elementary. Like, at the end.
Yeah. Not preschoolers. They won't understand.
Be like, I don't understand.
No, but they'll probably like it with the colors and everything. They won't understand what's going on.
The cat. And they'd be like, cat.
Like the colors and the way they move and such. But, Pixar is really good with their, like, Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
That's an older one, and it has, like, discrimination. It talks about, like, almost kind of like adopting a child and, like, having to give them back or something, like, stuff like that. So, not judging a book by its cover.
Pixar be doing it, because, while watching this movie, it made me think of Soul, even though they're not, like, super similar. I like they seem like a good pair, as in, like, how do I want to describe it? Like, for me, like, a movie about emotions and then a movie about, like, what you want to live for, like, I feel like those are a good, like, pair. Like, for me to, like, watch, I'm like, I want to watch Soul after this, and then I don't know, I like them as, like, a duo. Like, if I was going to have, like, a watch night, because they give me both similar feelings when I'm watching.
Yeah, it's about, movies. I think both of them, it's about maturing and growing up. Well, one, it's on the side of a child. The other side is about a older guy who is dying.
Yeah.
So, like, it's about maturing and accepting your oneself or accepting your situation.
Yeah. So I really like.
So they pair nicely.
They do.
Like grapes and cheese.
Yeah, I was thinking those would be a good watch, but yeah. So that was like my one point on that. Also, I wanted a quick segue. I was thinking while you were talking about, how the like idea of the movie is, Riley figuring out that you can have like complex emotions and have different emotions going on, and then also kind of learning what emotions are. I think is also interesting the one remark they made about when they went into the abstract ideas. They were like looking at Riley also like, and she was lonely, and she was dealing with that idea, and so I think that also shows Riley's learning these new emotions that she may not have completely felt before, but they're not as like cut and dry. Like, you can kind of get an idea of loneliness, but it's not one of the big five. So they were...
Yeah, because loneliness is like, it's sadness, but it's a different type of sadness.
Yeah.
Because you got sadness where it's like, I'm sad because my best friend didn't want to hang out with me today. Mm-hmm. But then loneliness is feeling like your friend will never come back.
Yeah.
Or you won't be able to make any other friends. And you're just kind of stuck. So it's a deeper emotion. I would say it's a more abstract emotion.
Yeah.
I think there's the concrete emotions that are sad, happy, fear. Those 6 universal, maybe. I think the 6 are the concretes. You're always going to have at least one of those emotions somewhere in your life. The abstract are the ones where there's personal meaning, cultural meaning, familial meaning. So like love, loneliness, some cases depression here and there. I think depression is like a mixture of multiple emotions all at once. So depression. And there's like different types of anger because you could be upset or you could be frustrated or you could be pissed off.
Yeah.
So there's different levels of anger and everything. So so that abstract thinking could represent like her learning how to have those abstracts understanding of what loneliness would feel like and depression because she was suffering from some depression. Mm-hmm. So, and I do wish maybe they went into more of that understanding of, because you can obviously tell that she's going through depression.
Yeah.
But you can't really tell how exactly.
Yeah.
Except that joy and, well, I guess with joy and sadness gone, that would be technically depression. Because depression, except, and also the thing was turning off, so she wasn't feeling anything at that moment. So that's what depression usually feels like. And a lot of people think depression means sadness. And that's not entirely the case. Some people, their depression's like that. A lot of the time, people mix up feeling depressed and depression as the same thing, when that's not true. Feeling depressed means like, you're sad most of the time. It's a slang word for sad, really sad. But having depression is almost exactly like how Riley felt. And it was exactly spot on. Depression feels like there's nothing. It feels like there's no happiness, there's no sadness, but there's also no disgust, there's no fear, there's nothing. So they got that fucking bang on because I suffer from depression, and that's when I feel when I'm in my depressive episodes. And whenever I talk to somebody about my depressive episodes, a lot of the time is, so are you sad? I'm like, no. And they're like, so why do you think you have depression? I'm like, I literally don't feel anything. Like, I could just lay in bed and stare at my wall for like 8 hours straight, and I would be content with doing that and be okay with it. But that's a very abstract feeling because it's completely void of anything.
Yeah, which they show, like, her, like, I think, visually with things shutting down. Like, the things that make her her, she no longer feels any kind of emotion.
And that's one of the tell signs of depression is lack of interest in anything that you once loved. So you could see her kind of spiraling down a little bit, it wasn't until the thing started shutting off that they were like, we can't make her feel like anything.
Yeah.
And when you look at her, she doesn't look sad.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't look angry. She doesn't look happy on the bus to run back to Minnesota. She just looks empty.
Yeah.
And I saw me and her because that's how it feels. And a lot of people, so that's why I'm a big sticker when people are like, I feel like I'm depressed. And I'm like, do you mean like sad or do you mean depression? Like actual depression? Because those are two very different things. Completely different. And they have very different reactions. Because if you're sad, most of the time you'll feel better. With depression, it's stages. It's waves. You're stuck in it for like maybe a day or maybe 5 months or maybe 2 years that you feel nothing. And so that's why I'm a big stickler on being like, don't mix up those words. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, if somebody's crying in front of me and they're like, I'm so depressed, I'm not like, technically you're just sad. Yeah. You're not really depressed.
Because that probably won't be helpful.
That probably won't be the nicest thing, so I kind of just shut my mouth for that. But like, I'm a big advocate of and this is different like with anxiety. Like I feel anxious. That's okay. You can say anxious.
Yeah,
because everyone feels anxious.
Everyone's got anxiety about something.
Don't say like, I have anxiety. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you might be anxious, but you don't got anxiety. Because, bitch, I got anxiety. And it's not something I just go, yeah, I love it. I'm more like, take it away in some cases. Let me have it in others. So, but, complex emotions. They're rough. Yeah. They're hard to figure out.
Oh, yeah, that's like one of the things that I talk about in therapy is I'm actually very good at identifying emotions usually, like in retrospect, maybe not in the moment, but when I look back. But then there's sometimes where I'm like, geez, why do I feel like this? Like I feel like this, but then I feel like this, and then I have to like talk through it and figure out like what's going on because I'm being like pulled like, you know, so many different ways and feeling so many different things about one thing that it like becomes very complex and like difficult to kind of, you know, figure out. So
the best way that I see of understanding those complex emotions is writing it down. Mm-hmm. Writing down each emotion that you're feeling and a reason why that emotion could be popping up. Mm-hmm. Because then it helps your brain, one, identify what you're dealing with at that moment. Because the reason why your brain is racing in those moments and trying to figure is because it's racing and you're not settling down and letting it breathe. Mm-hmm. By letting it ride out, it's letting it slow down and really think about it. That's why like anxiety. Mm-hmm. You get somebody to talk slowly, identify things, because it helps slow the brain down. I'm just flinging cat hair everywhere.
I know. I caught that one.
But it's probably because it's all on here.
Yeah. So you sit down.
But it's easier to sit down and kind of write it down and practice, and then sooner or later you'll be able to hopefully be able to know in the moment, and then what you need to do. And most of the time it's like targeting the big emotions. Yeah. So then like if you're angry,
the big five.
No, it's mostly like the sadness and anger, because those are huge emotions. Yeah. Those are the amygdala's emotions. The amygdala is like the big part of anger, very strong emotions like anger and sadness. So if you're feeling multiple emotions and you have one of those in there, do what you can in the moment for those first, because those can be the most detrimental. Because you can say the wrong things, you can do something that you'll regret physically, emotionally, to somebody else or to yourself. So it's always address those ones first and then come back to the other ones. Because the other ones, I don't want to say less important, but in the moment are a little bit more on the back burner, because those ones are such big emotions. And we are irrational sometimes, and we do irrational things when we're having those moments. Mm-hmm. So being like, okay, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling this, and this. Okay, I'm feeling mostly anger right now. I need to get out of this situation so I don't do anything. Okay, step out, and then now that you're stepped out, now you can address everything.
We need Riley to do this, even though she's young, because
she's small.
She won't be able, get it. But when she's at the table, just like with Dad, just burn. Well, it's also the emotions trying to. Which this is interesting because the emotions are personified, so it seems like the emotions are like controlling Riley per se, but in reality, they are Riley and they are how she thinks and how she feels. So one of the things that I found throughout the movie is I think why Joy is like, very harping on sadness. Like, no, don't touch those things. Like, no, like, you just be happy, which I think will go into our point of toxic positivity. But I was thinking throughout the movie, Riley is trying to identify her emotions and she's trying, like,
sadness is trying to reach out.
Sadness is trying to reach out, but instead it's coming out in different ways, like anger, because they're trying to, the emotions personified are trying to be like, oh, we gotta act like joy, like we gotta do this and, act like we're happy right now. And then it starts coming out in other ways because she also doesn't have that sadness coming out just yet. Because I think in a way having like sadness personified against joy and joy being like, no, like, kind of like shoving it down is also Riley kind of being like, she doesn't, shutting down sadness, maybe not like being able to deal with that emotion right now. So she's trying to have joy push sadness away, but that's not gonna happen. So then in the absence of joy, in the absence of sadness, she's, anger, and it's coming out in these different ways because she doesn't know how to deal with what she actually wants to feel and show.
Yeah, because I would say, like, she's trying to push sadness down because she doesn't want to feel the sadness. But what's true with kids, especially, like, you might feel sadness, but you might not identify what it is exactly. So maybe sadness will come out in an anger kind of way. Because I know, like, for me, when my parents divorced, I was, of course, sad. I was depressed. Actually depressed. I was diagnosed. And so, as young as I think Riley's age was when I first was diagnosed with depression, and
which is 11. Did we say that?
Yeah, 11, about 11, 12, around there, middle school. I remember, and when my emotions would come out, it would come out with anger. It wouldn't come out with sadness, and I think it's because kids just don't understand how to properly digest their emotions. So when they feel sadness, they think it's almost kind of like cognitive dissonance. They feel sad, therefore somebody else is doing something to me. So a coping mechanism is to take it out. One of the coping mechanisms is to take it out on somebody who's innocent. And so my poor mom, I took out a lot of my sadness on her as anger. And maybe, like, when I was younger, I was angry with her because I thought I had the shitty thinking that my mom was the reason why my dad wasn't in my life. After, because they were friends when they divorced, and then issues with my dad's partner started happening, my stepmom now. So I thought it was my mom pushing away my dad, but in reality, it was my dad pushing away all of us.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't know how to deal with that sadness of rejection, because rejection is also a very complex feeling. So as a kid, I don't know how to deal with that. So, you take it out on somebody else. And so I took it out on what I thought my cause of my sadness was.
Yeah.
If I hurt her and make her sad, maybe I would feel better. Because then that sadness is gone.
Yeah. Which makes sense with Riley, because that anger gets triggered towards her dad. It's not to her mom, and throughout the movie you hear her emotions being like, if dad didn't move us, like, so in that circumstance
was kind of blaming dad.
Yeah.
So like, if I hurt dad, if I get it out on dad, then maybe my sadness will go away. And I don't have to address it. Maybe.
Yeah. Push it down, which is not ever a good thing to do. Well, maybe like situationally, like until you get a moment to process, like, you need a moment to process, but like just being like, I could never feel sadness. My life must be joy.
Yep. And that's where it segues into toxic positivity.
Which I wrote a lot about too, because, joy, even though she's personified emotion, I get annoyed at her in the movie. I'm like, just leave sadness alone. Why are you, like, not letting sadness do what sadness needs to do? Even though, you know, they're characters, so, like, Joy, even though she's an emotion, she does have, like, personified characteristics to tell the story. But I'm like, Joy, you're driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you know, sadness as a character, I'm like, you're kind of pushing her down, but then in the big scheme of things, it's also not recognizing that sadness and being like, I gotta be happy, and, like, you know, the sad things, I'm gonna make them happy. It's like, but you can be sad, and I think that's what Riley also kind of learns.
I think in general in society, we tend to think that we need to be happy all the time because we see sadness as a bad thing. When we feel sad, it's a bad feeling, and nobody wants to choose to be sad.
Yeah.
So they want to choose to be happy. And I do think that if you are sad, making it happy is a good thing. It does, like, of course, sit in the moment, realize that you are sad. But I'm a big believer of find the silver lining in everything.
Yeah.
Because that is what helps me keep going. Because even though I might be immensely sad about something, there's always a silver lining to everything.
Yeah.
And so, like, for example, when I think about, like, my mom passing away one day, because you have to come to terms that it will happen, of course, I think about it with great sadness that I'm losing, like, one of my best friends. But I always try to find that silver lining. And my silver lining towards my mom was, out of every single fucking mom in the world, she was mine. And I was able to have her in my life and love and accept me. And that's my silver lining. And that's what keeps me going and makes me realize that, you know, when she does passes away, it isn't the end of my life. I still can keep going because at least I knew that she was there. So finding that silver lining is great and happy and good to have. Like, some people might not be able to find it, and that's okay as long as it doesn't eat them away and doesn't ruin them for long periods of time. Of course, there's a grieving time that you can do, whether it's a loved one passes away, a pet passes away. Like, I had a grieving session when my dog passed away when I was a kid. It's more when you let it ruin you, because then that's toxic sadness, where you're stuck and you don't know how to get out. That's when therapy comes into hand. But on the other hand, you don't want to be toxic positivity all the time, because one, that makes you almost unrelatable. Nobody wants to relate to somebody who's always happy 24/7 all the time. But I think toxic positivity really isn't a thing. I think it is people who are the saddest that portray toxic positivity. It's because they're trying to find that silver lining in everything and trying to stay happy. So I honestly, some people might be naturally that way. There's people who are naturally optimistic. I think optimism is a better way to look at it, and pessimistic. And then there's people who are in the middle. And you can be optimistic all the time, and that's totally fine. Because you're still going to feel sad. You're still going to feel those emotions. But you're going to find that silver lining. Everything's good. I think if you're pessimistic and you're always pessimistic, that's when it becomes the issue. Because then you're never going to find any happiness, anything good. You kind of become why does this all matter? Because then also nobody will relate to that. And nobody might not relate to somebody who's always optimistic all the time. But that's why you just don't hang out with them. If you guys don't mesh, that's fine. But I think toxic positivity isn't truly a real thing. I think it's people who are wearing a toxic positivity mask. Because, people who are the saddest are always the ones that portray to be the happiest. I don't know the science behind it. I can't remember for the life of me why it's that. That's why a lot of comedians are depressed or have some kind of mental disorder. Or maybe they're really just like it. But there's a good chunk that do have some kind of mental health issue. And so, and for that reason, it's because, if I'm sad, at least I can do a profession where I make other people happy.
Yeah.
And that in essence might make me happy.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same way of toxic positivity is not only is there mental health issues, like maybe they got social anxiety and that's why they wear the mask so people can like them. But, it's not always good to be toxic positive all the time because people, it's just if you're naturally like that, you don't have any mental health issues. If you're naturally positive all the time, you don't feel any negative emotion, you, one, aren't relatable, and two, you become kind of arrogant, ignorant around those realms because I'll say more ignorant. No, I always mix those two up. What's the one like you just don't know? Is that arrogant? No, ignorant. Ignorant.
Yeah.
You're ignorant because you can't have a conversation with anybody who's sad then.
Mm-hmm.
Because then people need to feel sad.
Yeah.
So if you come up and be like, you gotta be happier, that does nothing.
Yeah.
That doesn't that makes them feel worse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go up to somebody who's depressed. Mm-hmm. Just be happy. Thanks, motherfucker. Didn't think about that.
Yeah. Which I think that's what I was like going with my train of thought, like in the movie. That's kind of like what the personification of joy is doing, is being like, I can't be sad, but it's like, well, let sadness do its thing, and then, joy can come after sadness, or you can have joy and sadness at the same time, but you still need to allow yourself to feel sadness, and I think that was kind of the story that they were going for, having them be personified, and joy kind of, shoving down sadness. Is just like Riley isn't allowing herself to feel the sadness or recognize the sadness when she needs to, and because like nobody wants to be sad, but I think the movie also shows like once you're able to feel that sad emotion, then you're also able to, joy can come out of that sadness too, like with her, her family, like, and then and that one memory with the hockey game, you see her being sad, and then the memory turns into something joyous for her, but she was sad, and so they're intermingling, and so I think it also kind of shows her reflecting, being like, oh yeah, that moment in time, it was okay to be sad, but then I also had joy, with me too. Like they work together, and you need both to have each other, and kind of, it's okay to feel both, and some people might think it's not okay for them, to be happy, and it's like, you can feel the emotion. You can feel both in the moment. That's why I like to find that silver lining. Because, it's okay to feel sad. It's good to feel sad. But you don't want that sadness to eat you up. Yeah, and for her, she was more in a grieving phase because she was grieving her old life, basically. Yeah. So she needed, when it comes to grieving, you need to feel that emotion out. You need to grieve it out. Whether it's through sadness, whether it is through anger and getting mad. You need to go through those stages. Those stages can come once and then you're through all the stages, or it can bounce back. It can take years. It could take a month. Like, you need to have those. Child. Ping pong? No, is that what you said? So in grieving, you need to have kind of those emotions. I thought I heard somebody out there. I love watching Go-Go anyways. What are you doing? But yeah, she wasn't allowing herself to grieve, I think. And that's why Joey was pushing her down, because she wasn't allowing herself to feel that sadness and grief. Because a lot of time people don't want to feel sadness because most of the time, or feel grief, most of the time it's because sadness and grief come from losing something. And if you don't feel those emotions, therefore... Go. Get away from the laptop and the microphone. There's so much hair on that microphone. I'll have to dust it after. If you don't feel those emotions, you'll never grieve. And if you never grieve, to some people, it makes them feel like that I never lost anything. You gotta put yourself in the reality. Yeah. Because, it happens. It's going to happen. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to feel all these emotions. And it's okay as long as you can get yourself back up from it. Yeah. And if you can't get yourself back from it, it's okay. Find somebody who can. Yeah.
A professional therapist is great. They can teach you ways to help you get back from it on your own. Because they're not there to hold your hand. They're not there to just listen to you, get your emotions out, and then you leave. They're there to give you tools on how to get, not better, but how to get there on your own.
Yeah.
How to get from these dips on your own back up to your normal state, whether it's happy, whether it's neutral, whether it's pessimistic, optimistic. You shouldn't be toxic pessimistic, though. That's not good, because there's like almost no value to life then if you're constantly pessimistic. That's okay. It didn't pick up. But yeah.
Wooding. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like I can connect really, because my like big thing is I have a lot of guilt for feeling any negative emotion, so I can kind of see where Riley is, where I'm like, I've kind of learned this, so I'm like, I just want to tell her, it's okay to be sad, like, you know, it's okay to feel that emotion and let it wash over you, but, like, it's also good to, you know, move past it, but, like, that was, like, my thought, like, while watching it, I was like, oh, I can relate to her, because I'm like, I don't want to feel sad or, like, negative emotions, like anger, I'm like, I can't have those, because I'm a bad person if I have that kind of emotion, and it's like, no, you can feel the emotion, it's, you know, what you do with the emotion is what can end up being bad. But, like, you can feel it, and, like, it's good to feel it and recognize it. But, you know, oh my God, go get off that rubber band.
Hold on. I just got to push go. Go. No.
Okay. Rubber bands, you could choke and die like a baby.
Why is there a rubber band out?
I used it as a ponytail.
Oh. Well, the reason why I have this as one of my points is the reason why we have these negative emotions isn't to make us feel guilty about what we're feeling. It's because it's our body's way, whether it's our brain or our actual body, telling us that something is wrong, that something's going on and something is wrong. Like, you don't feel sad unless something is going on, something's wrong, something doesn't feel right. You don't feel angry unless something's going on and something isn't rubbing you the right way. And that's okay. And I agree. It's not the emotion. You can feel any emotion. That's totally fine. It's recognizing the emotion, realizing it. Is this not an overreaction, because no emotion's an overreaction, but is this truly what I'm thinking? Or is there something more? Because maybe I feel sad, but maybe I don't feel appreciated. And that's why I'm feeling sad. Yeah. Targeting the reasoning behind the emotion and then coming to a personal realization of what I need to do better. Or if it's somebody else, having a conversation with them on how I'm feeling and how to change it or compromise in those areas. Because, you know, if you don't communicate it either to yourself or to others, like, you're never going to feel better. It's just going to keep happening, and you're going to feel worse and worse every single time. And then that adds up to resentment, either to yourself or to others. Yeah. You're going to feel resented towards them. And so the emotions tell us when something isn't right, whether it's to us, whether it's to other people. Because some stuff happens to you and I get fucking pissed off. My amygdala is huge. I get angry. But the thing is, I don't have anger issues because I let it out in a healthy way. Whether it's by screaming into my pillow, whether it's one time, I don't think I ever told you this. It was not to you, but I was angry at somebody. So I wrote a very strongly worded letter and I deleted it. And that's how it helped me with my emotion. Kickboxing helps a lot.
Processing them in a sort of
way. I did that to my dad when I was angry with him. That time I ripped it up because it was in therapy when I was a child. So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, I ripped it up. I wrote it all. It was like 3 pages long. She had me put it into an envelope and she went, rip it. And I went, huh? And she went, rip it. And so I ripped it. She's like, do it again. So I kept doing it. And she's like, how do you feel now? I went, I feel good. And she's like, when you get home, if you have a fire, throw it into the fire. That makes it feel 10 times better. And I was like, oh. My mom wouldn't let me, though. But it was there's a kid yelling out there.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the can popping. She keeps pressing
Sorry
into it.
if you can pick up the kid.
They
Hopefully
can't.
not.
I don't think they can.
We
pick it up.
can.
I don't know what's going on. It sounds like she's yelling for her mom.
Yeah.
Or dad.
It's probably the kid from down that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was one of the things I kind of thought about. I also, piggybacking off of, like, the idea...
What did I do?
What?
I moved this.
Oh. I was like, don't tell me it's gone.
No, it's right here. But I moved it. I don't know how I did that. I'm not going to mess with it.
Yeah, just leave it. You know, we'll see what happens.
It's fine. I just moved the play button down more.
Interesting.
I think I tapped it on accident. Whoopsie. Okay.
Cool.
It's fine. It's recording.
I was thinking about you know how we kind of see sadness and happiness are kind of, you know, like two sides of one coin. So I was thinking also while watching, I was like, you know, if you don't experience like a sort of sadness or a negative emotion, then how are you really gonna like see like the happy things? Like I was thinking, you know, kind of like a silver lining, like sadness kind of can allow you to see a silver lining or appreciate things more. Like that's what I was kind of thinking is, you know, like when I'm sad, then it makes my appreciation for like a thing that's happy, you know, a little bit more heightened, or brings my mind back around to, oh, well, I have, you know, this thing. You're like, what are the good things that are going on? You know, people are like, you know, write down 5 things you're grateful for. Like, I think sadness can also help you see the joy as well. Like with, you know, Riley's got this really great family. So even though she's sad, she's got this really great support system and she has good memories of them. And I think that...
And she still has her friends from Minnesota.
And she still can do hockey in a different form, you know? Like, allowing herself to be sad, but then her sadness also allows her, you know, to... When she processes that sadness, allows her to also see happiness. And, you know, she joins that hockey team. So even though she misses the things that she had before, she's excited about these new things that are going on. So I think, you know, having sadness can help you also... kind of recognize joy, or at least, you know, be
make you more appreciative. Yeah.
So
to have those things. It kind of reminds me of like this discussion about love and hate. Like, is hate the opposite of love, when in reality it isn't? Because hate and love are two heightened emotions for another person. One is you really, really like them, and the other is you really, really don't. But people say the opposite of love isn't hate, it's actually indifference. Because you don't give a fuck about that person. Yeah. It's completely devoid of all emotion towards that person. Anything. Yeah. About so it's not a heightened emotion, it's a nothing emotion. You feel nothing. So that's why, like, when you are like in an unrequited love and they're like indifferent of you, you don't appreciate the people that you do love. Like truly love, like family or your friends, or maybe somebody else that loves you and you don't know. So, like, they're like the same thing with the coin thing. Yeah. But, yeah, it's, yeah, I agree. You can't feel happiness without your sadness. Yeah. Because you don't know what happiness really is without the downsides. Yeah. The downhills, the sadness that comes into reality. Because, like, growing up, every time you see your mom, you feel happy. And when she passes away, of course you're going to feel sad when you think about her. But maybe that'll make you grow more appreciative that she was your mom, that she was in your life. So you become more appreciative that whether it was God, the universe, or something else, they chose your mom to be your mom out of everyone else. So it kind of brings into retrospect that there are good things even when you're sad. Yeah. And writing those 5 things down is good too.
Yeah, like you can start like recognizing those things, like, and I think we do see Riley kind of do that, like, you know, be retrospective on her memories and be like, you know, sad thing happened, but also joyous things happen to me. Like, it's not always one or the other. Like, joy is like, yeah, everything is joy all the time. It's like, well, it's good, you know, if you're having that joy, but, like, you're probably going to experience sadness. Well, isn't there, like, like disorders where not so much like
Don't feel
antisocial.
sadness.
Do you have like
antisocial, but that's a personality
those
disorder.
are like the outliers.
They
but,
feel sad, I think.
Well,
they feel the strong emotions of the amygdala, which is anger and sadness. So they don't feel like complete, genuine love.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually a Reddit story, completely off the topic about it, but there was a Reddit story that I listened to about somebody who had psychopathic tendencies. By the way, psychopath is a personality trait. It is not antisocial personality disorder. But she was recognized as a psychopath, and she had children, and she was married. She's like, I don't look at my children with love. I don't love them. I know I should love them, and I take care of them. I give them what they need. If they need attention, I give them attention. But I can recognize I don't love them. And I was like, oh, well, she's in tune with her feelings.
Yeah.
She understands. Well, she's a hell. See, a lot of people look at psychopaths, antisocial, as like murderers, killers, rapists, all these kind of things. But in reality, most understand what they're feeling isn't right. And so they can recognize and still function, even though, and people are like really reaming into her, being like, why would you ever say this? You're never going to love your kids and such like that. I mean, she was incapable of feeling it.
Yeah.
How are you going to teach someone who is incapable of feeling it to do it?
Yeah.
You can't. That's not a learned feeling. Loving someone isn't a learned feeling. But it is a... Usually...
You gotta stop messing with me.
She's climbing all over the place.
Your floor.
She...
I'll pet you from up here. Compromise.
She's walking away.
Okay, bye. Children, man, I'm just kidding.
and there's also, again, levels of love, too. I'll also add that in to tie it back. There's different levels of love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I won't love my mom the same way I love a partner. And this might be a controversial take. I won't love my cat as much as I love a child if I have a child. I will not love my pet as much as I do love that child because they're two different circumstances. Of course, I'll take care of the cat or animal, but, in this moment, because we don't have children, we do love them like our child. But we also don't have children, so we don't know how that feels. Your hair is annoying me.
Oh, it's good.
You made it worse. You need the middle part. There you go.
I just like to push my hair around.
No, that's fine, but it's like this. And I'm like, oh my God, it's standing up. But, yeah, it's like a whole emotion thing. It's everything. We're hitting the almost 1:15. Do you want to talk about the LGBT parts? Yeah. LGBTQ parts.
Say one more thing that I was thinking already. I was also thinking, like sadness and happiness working together. You're back, bitch. You have that feeling of like bittersweet, like something's ending and you're sad, but you're also happy that it happened. That was another example I was thinking while I was watching. Like things, you hear that term like bittersweet, like it was.
God, she keeps coming back.
Do you want attention? Is that your problem? So it can be happy and it can be sad, and you can feel them both, and that is totally fine. And also, sadness and negative things help you learn. Without those, how are you gonna learn the lessons of life? And so yeah, let's talk about the LGBTQ for Pride. First off, she wears a rainbow shirt. Pointed it out. I don't think that means anything, but I'm just saying, yes, we love rainbow.
We can first talk about her gender expression first.
Yeah.
She presents more gender neutral. She doesn't wear girly dresses. I think her mom mentioned wearing a dress for her first day, but she ended up just wearing like a t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah, and she loves hockey.
And loves hockey, which is not traditionally a feminine sport.
Anyone can play hockey.
But anyone can play hockey. But traditionally, it's not.
The stereotypes that you normally see.
Mm-hmm. Traditionally, in history, it wasn't really aimed towards females or women.
Which most sports usually.
Soccer. Soccer, volleyball. Volleyball is a more female sport than a male sport.
Yeah, I think we still kind of see that, you know, like
football.
It's mostly males on these sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
So
football. I mean, baseball is recognized as one of the best sports in America. But what about t-ball?
Well, t-ball's for
t-ball.
Kids.
I meant this one. Softball.
I was like, yeah. What about t-ball? What about those 5-year-olds hitting balls off the standing posts
on tees? That's what it's called. A tee.
Come on, where's the professional team?
They could, but no softball. I mean, baseball is recognized as one of the best sports, but not like softball.
Mm-hmm. So
I need to write that down as one of the
T-ball.
Oops. Yeah. So there's like gendered sports and everything, which is not the best, but she does like a not really what you would think a woman would play or a girl.
Yeah.
She's a girl. Well, she's questionable right now.
Yeah.
She goes by she, and I think she identifies as girl, but maybe she identifies as she, them.
Yeah.
I don't know. But gender expression is a lot more neutral. Not really a girly girl. Doesn't wear like a lot of bright, girly, societal deemed girly colors.
We don't see her in dresses or skirts.
Her hair, she doesn't do makeup, no hair and
stuff. She's not really interested in makeup, like hair kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she presents kind of, you know, neutral to more, you know, masculine leaning. But one thing I did find interesting is in her imagination, she does like princesses and she does like unicorns. So it kind of shows you can have, you know,
you can be more feminine, more masculine,
those
more
are
neutral.
Some interests she had and, you know, she liked. And I guess those were her kid memories, and those could be pushed on her, but it seemed like
it's like her dreams.
Yeah, she had a dreams. Like, a positive reaction to that. Like, the unicorn wasn't in the subconscious with the clown. Like, it doesn't seem like she has bad memories of liking unicorns and stuff like that. So it's not like something that was kind of pushed
and, like, her imaginary friend, Bing Bong, was, like, a mystical animal. It wasn't like some people, like, have, like, princesses or dinosaurs. So, like, she also had a very gender neutral kind of imaginary friend.
So she is like all of that kind of going on, which...
That's why I would say she's more neutral, because she has both.
Yeah, she's got both. Can I tell you just a fast story about how, you know, like princesses and stuff like that, and that's, you know, like the gender thing. When I was in preschool, or maybe I was like 5 years old, I remember we had like a Beauty and the Beast day, and they came to paint your face, and I loved animals, and like...
You wanted to be the Beast?
I got myself painted as the Beast, and all the other little girls were Belle, and all the little boys were Beast, and I remember people being like, why are you the Beast? You know, not that sassy, because we're like 5. But it just made me
think, Beast is cool.
Like,
he's a prince. He got money.
Yeah. Like, that just reminds me of, like, what kids like. I'm like, why couldn't I just like the Beast and want to be the Beast? Why do I gotta be Belle?
It's mostly because we get those gendered looks very young of what it is. And, like, you know, and it's very interesting because they're trying to break the mold with race, but still not breaking the mold with gender.
Yeah.
Or look differently. Like, I looked at differently when I said I wanted gender neutral names for my children.
Yeah.
And I didn't want like a gendered reveal party like the way that other people do it. Because they do the colors, the pink and the blue, and that's how they do it. Or like when they're born, I don't want gendered colors. Just get black, white, yellow, maybe purple. Purple's fun. So like, I don't want anything pink or blue, because every time pink or blue comes into the mix, it's like, it's a gendered thing now. So it's like, I don't want to deal with that. And a lot of people, I think my mom is okay with it. She's kind of like, I don't really care. It's your kid. Well, it's more of the older generation that kind of look at me weirdly. They're like, why? It's a little boy or girl. It's fine. And I'm like, no, because what if in the future they don't want to be the sex they were born with, or the gender that's tied with their sex? Or what if they have a best friend that is a boy but likes to wear dresses.
Mm-hmm.
They will know then at a young age that is okay. Just, it's fine. It's whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Just let them do what they want to do. And there's a little bit of like that starting to kind of turn, hopefully, with Gen Z kind of pushing like that narrative of just being accepted of all, of anything.
Yeah.
Whatever your gender, sex, whatever you're wearing, just fucking be happy.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping, at least. But hopefully it will start mimicking the kind of like kids don't really understand race.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can tell like, oh, she's darker than me or she's lighter than me, but they don't really see the bad, like the negative stereotypes that are now put onto like people who are minorities.
Mm-hmm.
They're not exposed to that as much as now like children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until they're older then they're starting to get exposed to that shit. We need to get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
That and gendered stereotypes.
Yeah.
All of it. Get it out.
I was thinking, with Riley, she is allowed to do the things that she likes. I think that does come back to her family. It always seems really supportive of her every like situation. Like they fight like a normal family, but seems like she was allowed to like do hockey and then play with her unicorns and have an imaginary friend. Like she was kind of allowed to do the things that she wanted to, at least from the glimpses we see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, Riley, play hockey, but also you still love unicorns and princesses. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's a kid. Like, just let her play with the things she wants, go with the interests that she wants. Like, why does it matter?
Let her have that imaginary boyfriend that will die for her.
Yeah. Oh, the imaginary boyfriend, because...
I would die for Riley.
And, okay, this is a quick aside, but he was new, too. They're like, what is that? Because I'm like, it's the puberty.
That's the puberty coming in.
However they pronounce it. I was like, imaginary boyfriend's popping up. Or something.
Go into that sooner or later, that's going to be an island.
Yeah.
Just imaginary boyfriend island. So, whether it's all going to be like her imaginary like relationships with fictional characters or celebrities.
Yep. Been there, Riley. Been there.
Been there.
Yeah, so I...
Still there, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, I like seeing Riley be able to have all of these different, like, interests that are a part of her, but they don't, like, define who... Well, I mean, they define who she is, but they don't define, like, her gender or, like, how she should act. It's like, let her play hockey, it's fine. Like, So,
to segue, I have a huge thing of evidence that possibly Riley could be either non-binary in the future or non-binary now. Maybe she goes by she them. We don't know. So is because my biggest thing is the dinner scene where it goes into mom's head and dad's head and her head. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that in mom's head all the emotions were identifiably feminine?
Yeah.
And then in the dad's head, they're all identifiably male.
And they also mirror what they kind of look like as well.
Yeah. When you look at Riley's emotions, they're both male and female identifying. So that is my lead thing of saying maybe that's why she might be non-binary, and what a lot of other people are saying too. I looked it up, and a lot of people are thinking that, because why is it mom's head is all female identifying, right? Dad is all male identifying, but Riley has male and female identifying. Like joy, female.
Yeah.
Sadness, female. Fear, male. Also, it's so funny that they chose fear and anger as the male characters.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Love it. That's you, men.
Disgust is, girl.
Yeah. So, and then, disgust is also female. So, like, why would she have both? Unless she might be both. Mm-hmm. Maybe she's non-binary. Maybe in the future, maybe she's transgender. Mm-hmm. So that's why she has both. Maybe maybe. I don't know. It's a discussion. It could be.
Yeah.
And they don't, address it in any way.
Yeah, it's not like...
They don't address it. They don't say anything.
Yeah. The only thing that I can think of that, would be why they went that way, would be because her, not saying that that's not, a valid thing to think about, but from a movie perspective, they could have just been it's easier to have her characters be more personified and different because we're following them. We get to see dad and mom's for a quick flash, but it might be easier to have all of these characters because they're within the movie. They are characters for the movie, to have them be more distinguished in how they look and how they act. That's the only thing that I could think of could be why they went that route.
But then if they did that, they could have done that for mom and dad too. Yeah,
but I guess mom and dad don't really matter a whole lot just because we're only seeing them quickly. So as animators are going to be it's easy just to copy paste what they look like instead of really giving thought to how Riley's are, because those are the characters we're following. That's the only thing I could think of story-wise and animation-wise, but of course we don't know what was happening.
I wonder if the people ever said anything.
Yeah, I wonder if they have, because
Google.
We all know Disney. Disney owns Pixar. Disney hasn't been the most.
Is Riley adopted? Autistic? Oh my god. Oh, gender fluid. Maybe gender fluid would be a good one.
Yeah.
And had further led people to believe she could be lesbian or bisexual. She's not lesbian. She has an imaginary boyfriend.
Yeah.
Bisexual. Maybe.
Yes, join us. Yeah, because Disney, hasn't been the most progressive until, started moving a little bit, but it's still not the best. But I could see animators being this would be a way we could kind of have this going on without, it being stomped out immediately, doing, how the 50s, they had to do a little bit more coding that we talked about, even though we don't really have to do as much of that now. Maybe that's how they were trying
to... gender fluid.
Yeah, trying to get it through. So, it's not distinguished, what's happening. It's kind of a gray area, and there's discussions of what that means, and I could see that being a way that they were let's make it a gender fluid character, but we're going to, kind of slide it under. So,
coding?
Yeah. Yeah, coding that
Bring
we
it
talked
back.
about last week. So being able to have that be a part of the movie, but not have it be, explicitly said.
Oh, some people are also saying, here, could be perceived as a gender-neutral character who could be adopted for boys or girls based on their experiences.
Yeah, which I could see that as well, because that allows, my thing of looking at the audience of the film, the boys and girls and anything in between can see themselves in Riley and not have it be so specifically gender-coded that it might detract from the experience of a little boy or a little girl or anything in between where they're not able to really see themselves in it. Mm-hmm. So I could see that kind of happening as well. There's a lot to be said about the emotions being personified different, and if they haven't explicitly said, we can kind of guess or discuss what is happening, but...
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, gender queer. Some kind of gender queer aspect.
I don't know what's up with the...
Gender queer, non-binary. That's just a screen grab.
I was unicorn because she's got
rainbow.
No. Just kidding.
Maybe.
Rainbow hair.
People are saying gender fluid, maybe non-binary, but because... Or maybe she's just not sure yet because she's only 11. That is true. They're saying, Sully is a queer icon? Now I need to read about Sully. Why is he a queer icon? He doesn't have any romance. His best friend has a girl. Never flirting. Aromantic asexual. Where? He's content with his most important relationship being with his best friend and his child. A child. In fact, Sully's big love story is about him becoming a father figure to Boo. My hope would be one day he would adopt and raise children of his own. And he doesn't need a romantic partner. partner to do that. Aww. Merida. Cars 3.
Cars 3 specifically?
No. Cruz, Ramirez, and Natalie Certain. I don't know who they are.
Also gays.
Miguel. Oh, because he made a shrine? You could like him. He doesn't want to fuck his dad. What he thought was his dad. Okay, I'm done with this. This is an interesting read. But yeah, people were saying possibly genderqueer. Some kind of. And
yeah.
Possibly. Depending. But Riley's still a vanilla cisgendered girl. Okay. Vanilla? Don't call a child vanilla. That's weird. That's a sexual thing.
Vanilla child. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you mean she's like a basic white girl is what you're trying to say? Like, not vanilla.
I don't know any basic white girls that like to play hockey. Just saying.
No, I definitely don't see that either.
Like, I know a lot of basic white girls. And that are not typically basic white girls.
Yeah.
They still will not play hockey. I'm a basic white girl.
Yeah.
I got scared going to a hockey game. I didn't even play. I got scared. They hit hard.
I love hockey because I love watching fights.
There's no fights there.
Dang. Lame.
What? It was the first game, I think.
I mean, that's what you... Well, at least everyone that I've interacted with who goes to hockey games are like, when are we getting to the fights? And then I kind of grew up with adopting that idea.
See, I externalize anger. Lyrica internalizes anger and gets it out in healthy ways of watching other people go off and get angry or explosions.
Yeah.
I just literally fight a bitch.
Or, yeah. I love watching destruction in fantasy. Not real life destruction. Like, if I saw, like, a city, like, you know, like...
Blown up,
I wouldn't be like, yeah!
Fantasy. But you do like people watching people fight. If you're not in it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
in real life.
I wouldn't want to watch, like, a bloody beatdown, but, like, you know, in hockey, they just kind of get a little aggressive. Like, they're not, you know, beating the shit
like drunk people fighting.
Yeah, they're not, like, beating the shit out of each other to the point where it's like, ooh, like...
I'm uncomfy.
It's just kind of, you know...
I am usually the person who's doing the fighting.
No.
I've never gotten into a fight. I have slapped a drunk man before. That was fun. But with the stories I've heard without me when you're drinking and going out, one, make me so anxious, and two, make me want to fight a bitch. I need to be there so I can fight a bitch. I hope my mother doesn't watch this.
I elbowed a man.
Huh?
I elbowed a man.
Like, what do you mean by elbow me like you elbowed him?
Well, he was more like behind me, so like, well, more like a shove, I guess.
Okay, good.
I shoved.
When I hear elbow, I just hear like.
No, it was physically like, get away.
No, you need to like, dude, you got nails. Just be like, oh, thanks, and just like clutch onto them, and then they'll be like, ah, and I'll be like, bye bye, and then you go for the eyes if they keep going.
I mean, if he touched me a fourth time, in my drunk brain, I was like, I'm gonna hit him. I just haven't gotten to that point yet. But I was like, I'm gonna hit him.
Touch number 2 is when you go, I'm gonna hit them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit this bitch. But that's why we're not going to that club anymore. Yeah. That's a no-go club.
Solid DJ every time.
No-go club.
I need the DJ to move from that club to
Junction.
Yeah.
Please.
The DJ be slapping, but the vibe be not.
It's just, I think that's gone downhill. I think that's a weird man's...
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to ask.
I'm in pain.
Oh, okay. Show your F off then? Yeah. This is really weird for me to make eye contact with you while doing it.
I gotta...
She's uncomfy right now.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say.
Yeah, so...
Overall, it's a fact. Riley's gender fluid.
Yeah.
It's a fact. I don't care what you have to say. It's a fact.
Dang, shut me down.
We don't have any queer icons for children's movies. Yeah. And we need this one. They say Sully. I don't really see Sully, but I see Riley, and I need her to be gender fluid.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we still haven't seen a whole lot.
We've seen gay side characters.
Yeah, at least in...
But not... not like a main character.
Yeah, like I can't really think of a whole lot of examples other than, there's live action Beauty and the Beast with
Fucking
what's his name?
Gaston and LeFou.
Yeah, like
LeFou is gay for Gaston.
I feel like they were pretty. I think they said that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think that there's not a whole lot of examples.
They didn't say he got with the guy at the end.
Disney? Come on, we can.
Well, no, because there was a huge uproar about just LeFou. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wanted to name. When you got Go-Go, before we settled on Goyani, I wanted to call her LeFou. 1, gay icon. 2, I just like the name LeFou. That's such a cute name.
Cat's name.
If I ever get a long hair cat like Ella, LeFou. Like if it's a fluffy cat, oh yeah, your name is LeFou.
You're just calling her the fool.
Well,
isn't LeFou?
I don't know. You speak French.
I don't speak French. I feel like it is. Just...
I don't know. You're giving me things to Google.
And the other one's Gaston.
Gaston. But LeFou likes Gaston. But Gaston is not gay. So at the end, LeFou is dancing, and he dances with one character that I can't remember off the top of my head. But they start dancing together.
Do you think Gaston was masking some internalized homophobia?
Yeah, see, the first thing that pops up is gay.
Yeah.
And then there was like a huge... he regrets about gay LeFou? Why?
People probably beat him down or like with words, being like, why?
I wonder why. Now I need to know. We didn't go stupid. Skip ad? Yes. Okay.
I'll look up what his name is.
Yeah, thank you. I want to know why. He says we didn't go far enough. So he regrets not going far enough in the game. We didn't go far enough to warrant accolades.
I was right.
We didn't
His
go.
name means the fool.
Which he is in the original movie. He's not in this movie.
The fool, which translates to the fool in French. I know what I'm talking about. So you're gonna name your cat the fool.
It says, we didn't go far enough to say, look how brave we are. My regret is in what happened is that it became Disney's first explicitly gay moment. And it was never intended to be that. It was never intended to be a moment that we should laud ourselves for. Because frankly, I don't think we did justice to what a real gay character in a Disney film should be. Okay, so he doesn't regret having a gay character. He regrets not pushing it.
Yeah.
And actually, even that little snippet made people so mad. Him. They're doing a little dance at the end.
So sad. This just frustrates me so much. Like, if we can push straight
propaganda
down kids' throats, like we can't have any sort of representation for queer kids, like
or just queer adults.
It's not gonna make kids gay either, because the queer kids who have had straight romances shoved down their throat, they still end up
being gay.
Queer, so like that whole thing just frustrates me. I mean, there was
It's so funny because my grandma made that argument, and I went, Grandma, I've only read straight romance novels. I've only watched straight movies and TV shows, like romances. I still like girls. Maybe it's their fault for making the girls so attractive.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we need ugly straight romances.
Yeah.
Maybe that will prevent anyone from being any gay.
Yeah, like
that's not how that works.
So
Thanks,
frustrating.
though.
So
one day we'll get to the point and we will celebrate. At least there's now like Love, Simon, which I think is like aimed for teenagers.
And excuse me, Disney Channel, we had Andy Mack, and there was a whole entire gay storyline on that was treated with respect. And you put that in a TV show. Why can't we?
Well, that was after Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, why can't we?
Beauty and the Beast came out 2016. 2016.
Yeah.
2017.
I just think I feel like we still don't see as much as I would like, but that's still the the environment, and we're even progressing backwards now with drag bands and all that great, lovely things.
I think when it comes to kids' films, it's going to be so much harder.
Yeah.
Because it's parents now coming into the talk. Teenager movies and adult movies, that's fine because they're teenagers, they're adults, they're more like okay in that realm of not needing parents' input and needing parents to sit there and watch it with them. Kids, it's a whole other story because usually the parents are there watching it with them. And it's the parents that have the issue and not the actual children. Yeah. So that's why it's harder, I think, to get it into children media rather than teenager and adult. Mm-hmm. Which we're seeing, I think, more representation in adult at least. Yeah. Maybe teenager. I think a teenager is now. We're getting at least coded things for teenagers. But adult things are now, it's becoming like a norm.
Adult things, for sure. Like,
you'll see a movie and it has 2 characters and you're like, what? Okay. Yeah. Are you guys interesting?
Yeah.
I need to know you guys first. Are you guys interesting? Because I can still hate a gay character love story if it's not good. Mm. It needs to be good. Yeah. Trust me, I hate a lot of Korean BLs because they're not good. Nothing happens. It's so boring. Mm-hmm. Give me some spice.
Well, you want spice.
Well, no, like spice, like like some salt, some pepper,
drama,
basic
conflict.
Yeah, just something. I don't need it to be happy all the time. I want conflict. I want somebody to get hit by a car. Well, with Asian shows, it's dramatic, so I want drama, and they make it boring. They make it American. I don't want American. I'm watching Asian media. I need someone to get hit by a car or fall in a weird way. That's what I need.
Fall in a weird way. Oh my gosh, I'm being attacked. Assault. I'm calling it. I'm just kidding.
But that's Inside Out. Oh, one thing we would change, one thing we wouldn't change. One thing we don't like, one thing we do like. One thing that's a weakness and one thing that's a strength. Go.
Well, my strength is I'm just overall, like, my strengths are always, like, overall.
Overall, it's good.
Overall. Story-wise, I think they do a really good job with balancing the internal with external while still being able to cohesively tell both sides of that story and have them work together in a way that makes sense and is entertaining. So, my dislike or thing that I would change is, let's see. I feel like I'm always the worst with, like, criticizing something unless it's something I really, like, dislike and think is not good.
Mm-hmm. At Love Rosie.
Well, I didn't think it was not, like, it wasn't for me, but, like, there were some...
I was just joking.
Yeah, but I'm very good at reaming things that I absolutely hate that I could be. Like, Halloween Ends, I could ream that all day. But when it comes to things that I generally enjoy, it becomes...
Just something you wish you saw more then. Or it went into more.
I would like to see more of Riley. Maybe a little... I know How We End is very sweet, but I would have liked to be able to see her process her sadness a little bit more. Like, I can't... Even though it would make the movie a little too long, I wanted to see her, like, have a talk with her parents. And we do get a resolution, but I would have liked to see more of that talk with her parents when she finally breaks down and says, I miss my home and, everything. We get a little bit of what the parents say, but I just wish I would have got a little bit more of their interaction and how she then dealt with it. Even though we do see her get to, she gets new hockey or a better well, not a better house, but, they got their house all set up and everything like that. But
they finally got their luggage.
Which, my moving van sucks. That's my dislike. Fuck
that moving van.
Like, geez, you can't get one van to one place. They were even like, I noticed this in my, like, third rewatch. They were like, how did it get to Texas? It's like, good question. How did it get to Texas? What were you doing? Get better management of this moving company. Jeez. I'd be so mad, even though I wouldn't outwardly say it, but I'd be like, what?
What did you do?
The mom is so, like, calm and collected. I was like, in her brain, I want to see, like...
anger going off.
Yeah. So.
My strength is how accurate it really is. Whether it was the emotions, long-term memory. We didn't get into long-term memory or any of the memory stuff, but the memory stuff was pretty accurate to what memory is kind of like in an essence. In a kid way, it's pretty smart and pretty accurate. I did want to shout out that long-term memory was in a way that looked like Gairai and Sokai, which is parts of the brain that Gairai is the curves in the brain, like the humpy parts, the hills, and then Sokai are like the divots in the brain, and they made it the long-term memory of all where all the pearls are stored. Mm-hmm. They made it look like that, and I like that little touch to make it look like a brain almost. So that was cool. Threatening the microphone with a pen. And then my thing that I wish we delved more into is man, I had a good one, but then the moving van one got into my head. Also, fuck that moving man. I think I would also agree. I wish the resolution wasn't so fast, and then all of a sudden everything is okay at the end. I wish we saw a little bit more of the development of slowly getting back to normal and her recognizing her emotions instead of it all being like everything's good now. Like I wish it was a little bit more like
she didn't seem all that like sad anymore. She was like, "Yep, I'm playing hockey now."
Yeah, I wish there was more of the maybe like a couple days of how she was slowly getting better from her depression.
Got it. Nope.
No, you did not. There you go. She got the cat hair that was floating in my face. But yeah, other than that, really, really good. I did like the accuracy. Also going back, I did like the accuracy of men thinking about something else. Well, at the dinner table, mom knows something's wrong with Riley, and she's trying to get the dad's attention to like talk to her. And dad's like spacing out while eating and thinking about like some sport. Yeah, a sports game. And the emotions are like cheering on to the game. And they see that mom's looking at him. And so he like has this face on her. He's making this face and he's making that stupid face again.
I think that really like showed that even though they're supportive, they're still a married couple. And
then she thinks about the fucking airline men.
Or helicopter man.
Oh, helicopter man. Puerto Rican helicopter man.
Puerto Rican?
I think Puerto Rican.
Brazilian.
Brazilian, that might be right.
Very attractive animated.
So they turn it on. Start daydreaming about him.
And then the teacher apparently has had an interaction with this man.
There's so
Everybody's
much.
fawning over him, but yeah.
The end credit scene is really good too. Yeah. Going into all the side characters that we don't really know's brains and everything.
Cat one, my favorite.
The cat one was hilarious. The dog one was funny. Yeah. I really like that dog one because that's what dogs literally are. But also the cats make sense too. But like the girl who's like seen as the cool girl and internally like freaking out, being like, they're gonna know that we're not really cool.
I liked seeing hers because it was like, you get to see that even though outwardly, and also Riley was like, cool kid.
That's a cool kid. We don't talk to them.
We don't get to see what she's thinking, of course, because it's not her movie, but it is nice to see that little snippet of, because the line is, do you ever wonder what's going on inside someone's head? And inside her head, she's like, oh, well, I'm a poser. Like,
I'm a fraud.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
I think I'm going to watch that cutscene again, specifically only for the cat and dog scene.
Yeah, oh my god, the cat one. I laughed so much.
If you don't watch a movie, just watch the end credit scene. That scene is hilarious. Love the cat and dog.
Yeah, because it's just
accurate.
Because they don't have complex emotions, so yeah.
But it's so accurate.
The dog one is food.
It explains so much.
Yeah, get food. Cat one is...
Get scared from nothing.
Yeah, like...
They accidentally hit the scare button.
Yeah.
And that's why cats get, like, scared and then they start fucking running around with zoomies.
Yeah.
Crackhead energy. Yep. Maybe okay, quick question before we end this. Who is the golden retriever of this relationship? And who is the black cat?
you give me, like, well, what's hard?
Am I cat dog? Or I'm both?
Yeah, you're like cat dog. And, like, for me, golden retrievers always make me think, like, happy and optimistic, and I am not
You're
that.
a pug.
Yeah, I'm, yeah.
You're a pug. You like pets. You like to cuddle up sometimes. You like food. And you like to be left alone.
Yeah. Definitely not a...
Which pug is kind of like a cat.
Yeah.
But likes to be walked sometimes, which you like to go to a club sometimes, so that's kind of equal. So you are a dog, but a pug. Yeah. And I'm the amalgamation of the TV show cat dog.
Just thinking of, freaking question of, do you remember those, videos I showed you of, Curtis Connor and his friend reacting to the really dumb dating show?
Which one? There's so many.
Best You Picks Babe. And the girls are like, if you were a dog, what kind of dog would you be? And like they all had serious answers. And the one girl talking about her bestie was like, if she was a dog, she would be a Havanese because she likes Havanese and she has a Havanese. So yes, she would be a Havanese. And meanwhile, we're like actually thinking
you're a pug and I'm cat dog.
No.
Which I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
I mean, I'm just saying you have both attributes of that, but like cat dog is a character I do not like, but I'm not saying like I do not like you.
You don't like me?
No, because I hated that TV show.
It was so funny.
I'm just not a cat dog fan. But you're not.
I bet people are going to hate you now. No,
I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, what gives cat/dog vibes?
Your cat energy is just like being done with people. Like
it's like 9 out of the 10 days.
You give me
there's 7 days. 6 out of the 7 days.
Give me just that energy of like a cat, and also like you know your boundaries, and because that's one thing about cats is they have boundaries, and if people cross them... You
touch my back one more fucking time, bitch, I'm clawing you.
Yeah, like, you have that, like, kind of thing. But dog-wise, you are better at seeing the optimism in things than me when you're not depressed.
I'm depressed, I'm like, oh, there's nothing.
You tend to have a better outlook of things, where I'm more of the
I feel like I also
pessimist of those
duo. Yeah. I feel like I have more crackhead moments.
Yeah, you would be like the dog that's jumping around. Yeah.
I literally came in last night to annoy her, and she was on her phone, and I looked at her phone. She was playing solitaire, and immediately shut down my crackhead energy. I went, I want to watch you play solitaire. Yeah, I'm teaching her how to play solitaire. Yeah. You're doing well.
I almost played it at work today, and I was like, pull out mine.
I usually play it on my computer if I have nothing to do.
I could do that, but I'm also terrified that they're watching my computer.
What? I don't know. I've been doing it for a month and I've never gotten caught. Well, people have walked by. I had somebody walk by me at work who is a CSA for a different clinic. And she walked by. She's like, hey, I got a question. I went, yeah? She went, how do you play solitaire on your computer? And I went, oh, it's on Google. You just Google solitaire and it's like a Google app thing. Mm-hmm. She's like, huh. I've been meaning to ask you that because I kind of want to play. So I am causing people to play solitaire now. I've been okay to do it if there's nothing for me to do.
Yeah.
Which is usually like an hour or two throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like today was pretty slow, so I got to play it a little bit more, but I just did some side work that I've been pushing off.
I guess I have sat on the computer waiting for tickets to drop when I was getting my Sam Smith tickets. I had it up on my work computer because I was like, I can't do this on my phone. So I was like doing work. And was like,
yeah, that's fine.
Back and forth. But I keep hearing this thing from Cindy being like, work computers, and she's not saying this to me. She's like, work computers are meant for work and not for personal things. So I'm like, are they going to pull up what I've been doing and they're going to see that I was looking at hotels in Denver?
I think it's only when it's taking like your time. Yeah. If it's like 30 minutes like on your break, I think that's fine. If you say, like, I'm on my break, I literally can't use my phone. I have to use the computer. That's fine, as long as it's not, like, daily. Like, you're doing it every single day for, like, an hour or two every day.
Yeah.
Because then that's taken away from work, obviously. for me, I'm allowed to do it because I got actually permission from my boss to do it. If I literally have nothing else to do. And so I just do it. I also do it on my break. But people know when I'm on my break because I tell people I'm on my break. And then also I shut down my Outlook so I don't see my faxes coming in.
Shut my whole computer down so people know I am not working. Do not
come to me at all.
Even though they still do, and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you when you're eating." I'm like, "Well, you are bothering me while I'm eating."
Say I will be off in 20 minutes, so come back in 20. That's what you say.
Someone will just answer if it's
no.
I'm like, yes, this, or I'm the keeper of everyone.
No.
They're like, is Cindy in a meeting? I'm like, I got called her secretary, and I was like, I am not a secretary.
I am her assistant.
Not saying secretaries are bad, but I'm like, I'm not specifically hers. Like, I meant it as in, like, I got other stuff I'm doing. I'm not Cindy's keeper, okay? Anyways.
You're an assistant.
Yeah.
You assist her, but that's not the only thing you do.
Yeah, I don't sit there, like, going, where is Cindy? Where'd Cindy go? Let me tell you, this is where Cindy is right now, and Cindy is working on this thing. That is not my job, okay?
That is not in my job description.
Anyways.
Went off on a tangent about everything, but yeah, we will see you for. We're doing all Pride-ish movies. I don't know if I said that. I think I did. So our next one is going to be a surprise. We won't say.
Get ready for a long ass talk because I got tons of shit to say.
This will probably be a Lyrica Forward episode. I am
so excited. Literally one of my favorite movies. So.
Should I even make notes? I think you should be. You're probably going to be the one who's probably going to be pretty heavy on this.
I've been trained for this my life.
And I think I've seen this a lot, so I think I don't need notes for it. So
I literally watched this movie like a month or two ago because it's my I will watch this over and over again. Yeah.
All right, so be excited for episode 10.
Yes.
10?
Yeah, look at us go.
Look at us. This is the most dedicated we've ever been.
I know.
We had a past podcast that we did, but I think we stopped at episode 5.
Yeah.
Because RIP, our editor.
Yeah. Also
he didn't die.
Yeah. Also my mental health was also spiraling downwards during that podcast time. So.
Which is always fun.
Yeah. So.
Mine's always spiraling up and down, so it's kind of like a shot in the dark, so I usually can power through.
Mine spirals in different ways now, but it's not as...
Plunge.
I also was not in therapy during that podcast.
That is true. Therapy is a godsend. Go get therapy.
Yeah.
That should also be it. Go get therapy.
Don't be an Edward.
Go watch Friends. The TV show. Not your actual friends.
Watch your friends. No,
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You might
You'll turn into an Edward.
Be an Edward, yeah.
We don't like Edwards. We like Charlies. Do you guys want to be named Charlie? You are our Charlies.
Yeah, because Charlie is objectively
hot.
Well, that's, but best character. People have been like, he looks like Republican dad, but I mean, I could see it a little bit.
He's a great dad, though.
Sheriff, he has his guns, but I mean, Charlie is an icon, and
we all love him. Or Carlisle. Do you guys want to be the Carlisles?
Love
Carlisles?
Alice,
that's hard to say. Alice's? Be an Alice.
Yeah. Alice is, a lot of people wanted Alice to be queer.
Yeah, if it wasn't written by who it was written by, it could have been.
Stephanie Meyer would not allow, but...
we'll say she is in our book.
Yeah.
Be an Alice. Alice's. I don't like that name. Charlie's. Yeah, we're going with Charlie's.
Yeah, be Charlie's.
Because Charlie can be both girl and boy.
Yeah.
Or non-binary.
Yeah.
Or anyone in anything. Anyone. It's a gender-neutral name.
Yeah.
Go like that. So, bye, Charlie's.
Bye, Charlie's.
Cut.